Welcome to Crocodile MTG, your home of competitive, constructed play in all Magic the Gathering formats. Today's video was brought to you by all our wonderful sponsors, affiliates, and patrons. Thank you all for supporting the Crocodile MTG channel, and we hope you enjoy today's video. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jordan with Crocodile MTG, and I am here bringing you another Magic the Gathering video today. Theros Beyond Death is now out, and this new pretty much splinter-twin combo is out in the form of Heliod, Sun Crown, and Walking Ballista. Essentially how it works is you play Heliod. Heliod's an indestructible enchantment, which is pretty good. It sticks around most of the time. And it has the ability of whenever you gain life, you get to put a 1/1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. You can also pay 1 and a white and give a creature lifelink. So that's pretty relevant because once we play Walking Ballista, as long as Walking Ballista has at least 2 counters on it, what you can do is give Walking Ballista lifelink, and then you can ping your opponent for 1. That triggers Heliod, Sun Crowned, and you put a 1/1 counter on a creature, and then Walking Ballista gets a counter, and then you can remove that counter to deal 1 damage again. You gain 1 life. You put another counter on Walking Ballista, and so on and so forth, and you get to deal a ton of damage to your opponent out of pretty much nowhere. This is an infinite combo as long as your opponent doesn't disrupt it, and you need to have at least 2 counters on Walking Ballista, because if you remove the last counter, Walking Ballista just dies, and then you don't have the Walking Ballista anymore. You have to have 6 mana, essentially, if you're playing the Walking Ballista, and trying to give it, you need to be able to give it lifelink also. So just something to be aware of. If you play Heliod on 3 and Walking Ballista on turn 4, you actually can't combo off that turn because you have to have a way to give Walking Ballista lifelink. Now, if there's any free ways to give Walking Ballista lifelink, let me know, because I would like to be able to speed up the combo as much as possible. So let's go over the deck. The mana base is pretty simple. We're playing 4 Glacial Fortress, 4 Hollowed Fountain, and then we're playing, I believe it is 9 islands and 5 plains. That's pretty simple mana base. We're playing 4 Mox Ambers also. This combos quite a bit with the cards in our deck that we'll get to in a few minutes. Emery and Psy Master Thopterus, being that they're legendary creatures. Mox Amber ends up adding 1 additional mana. We're also, so around the Walking Ballista and Heliod Suns combo deck, we're actually playing kind of this artifact build, which is really cool because it synergizes really well. And we've had a lot of really powerful artifacts in the last few sets that is kind of the core of Pioneer, between Kaladesh and M15. And, there's just been a ton of really good sets lingering around, even the most recent Throne of Eldraine. And again, Theros Beyond Death, enabling Heliod. This deck just kind of synergizes extremely well and is extremely powerful. So Mox Amber, just an artifact enabler. It's an artifact and adds an additional mana for free. We have Witching Well here. Witching Well is a great card out of Throne of Eldraine. Witching Well is an artifact. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you get to scry 2. So you get to manipulate the top of your deck a little bit, find your combo pieces that you need, and then you get to pay 3 and a blue and draw 2 cards, which is extremely good and extremely powerful. We have Opt. Opt is just kind of, your typical Serum Visions. If you're used to playing a lot of Modern, Serum Visions helps you find the combo pieces. Opt is very similar. We have Chief Engineer. Chief Engineer is actually very powerful. So it says artifact spells you cast have Convoke. And what Convoke is your creatures can essentially tap to add 1 for either a blue, a color of the creature. So if you have a white creature, it can tap for white, or colorless, same thing with blue, red, black, and green. So essentially what happens is you can play Chief Engineer on 2, you can play your 3rd land, and then you can play something like Arcanist Owl on turn 3, because you're able to tap Chief Engineer for that extra blue mana. Glass Casket is a great removal spell. It helps us just kind of disrupt whatever our opponent is doing. It takes something out of play. It does exile. It's also an artifact, which having this ability on an artifact is pretty cool. Normally this is a ability that would typically be on an enchantment, but the fact that it's on an artifact from Throne of Eldraine is pretty awesome and enables a lot of other synergies as well. We have the Heliod, which we talked about. It's in here to pair with Walking Ballista. I don't think I need to explain Walking Ballista to anyone. If you're familiar with Pioneer or Modern at all, you've seen tons of Walking Ballistas. Emery, Lurker of the Loch. Again, this is a card out of Throne of Eldraine. So this deck is all quite a few new cards. I mean, we just had Mox Amber and Dominaria. You know, that Chief Engineer's M15, so that was a while ago. But already you're seeing, you know, 12, 14 cards out of Throne of Eldraine. I'm sorry, 16, because we have Stonecoil Serpent over here. That's just insane to think about. So now looking at Emery here, Emery costs 1 less for each artifact you control. So again, we're playing a pretty heavy artifact synergy. So Emery typically comes down for 1 or 2 mana. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you can choose target artifacts from your graveyard, and you get to cast that spell. That is a tap ability, so you can use it every turn. You can't use it the turn Emery comes down, because obviously Emery has Summoning Sickness. But again, if you're able to play Emery on turn 2 and untap with her, it's going to be extremely powerful and extremely in your favor. Being able to cycle Mox Ambers to get a mana ramp, enabling your combo, finding like Walking Ballista or Stonecoil Serpent, or really playing any of these other artifacts is going to be really good for you. We have Sai Master Thopterist here. Obviously, Sai is a Master Thopterist, and he is extremely powerful because whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get to create a 1/1 colorless artifact creature token with flying. So essentially what you do is you play Sai as early as you can. Every artifact spell you cast after that creates a Thopter, which does have flying, so it's evasive, and you essentially can go really wide for very little effort in this deck, because pretty much every spell you cast is going to be an artifact. So Sai is really good. It also has the ability to pay 1 and a blue, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card. So if you're looking for that last combo piece, you're trying to push your way through, Sai is very good at doing that. Helps you go wide, creates threats, and also draws you some cards. Sai is really good in this deck. It's also legendary. So Emery and Sai are 2 of our 3 legendary creatures in this deck. Enables Mox Amber really well. Here we have Padim. Padim is a 1/of. It's also 1/of in the sideboard. This is a card I like having handy because it gives artifacts you control hexproof. So it helps enable, if you play your Walking Ballista after you play Padim, then you're able to essentially protect it. They have to deal with Padim and Walking Ballista, or Walking Ballista in a different way. They have to deal with it in a different way. Also, if Padim sticks around for a while, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest converted mana cost or tied, you may draw a card. I'm sorry, not may. You draw a card. So essentially, once Padim comes down, it protects your other artifacts from targeted removal, and also draws you cards as you go all about. There's not a lot of artifact decks in this format in Pioneer. The ones that do run artifacts are typically running a CMC 1 or 2 or 0, because they're running cards like Stonecoil Serpent. And the thing with Stonecoil Serpent and Walking Ballista is they are converted mana cost 0. So even if you have a Walking Ballista or Mox Amber of your own, it does say even if you're tied for the highest converted mana cost, even if the converted mana cost is 0, you also draw a card. So you're just able to get some card advantage off Padim. It's a legendary creature, enables Mox Amber, and also protects all your artifacts, giving them hexproof. Wow, I was way off on this Throne of Eldraine count, because also Arcanist Owl is from Throne of Eldraine. So Arcanist Owl is a artifact creature bird with flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So Arcanist Owl is really good because it helps you find either Heliod, Walking Ballista, a powerful card like Stonecoil Serpent, a removal spell like Glass Casket, and also comes down on typically turn 3. And even if it comes down on turn 4, that's not the end of the world. It also has white, white, white in the converted mana cost. I'm sorry, white, 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 white. It has 4 white symbols in the converted mana cost, which enables Heliod and turns him into a creature, which is very good as well. So Arcanist Owl is really good in this deck. It helps you find the combo pieces, enables Devotion for Heliod, and is also a 3/3 evasive flyer. So those stats also are pretty good. Last on our list is Stonecoil Serpent. Stonecoil Serpent is extremely powerful. Again, out of Throne of Eldraine. You pay X into this Serpent. And if you have Chief Engineer, you can use your creatures to pay X into Stonecoil Serpent as well. Stonecoil Serpent enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. So it easily becomes, a 5/5, a 6/6, a 7/7, however much mana you can produce. Essentially just goes right into Stonecoil Serpent and creates a huge creature. It has reach, so it can block creatures with flying. It has trample, which means it's a great attacker. And it also has protection from multicolor, which is pretty relevant because a lot of the control shells in Pioneer right now, I guess I should say, for example, Grixis, and I think there's a couple blue-black decks running around that kind of have control cards. And there's also a few red-black decks running cards like Dreadboard and Bedevil. Essentially, Stonecoil Serpent just full out is protected from that. And anyone running like Culligan's Command or really any multicolored spell obviously can't target this. There's a ton of removal in multicolor. Obviously, like mono black and things like that have ways to deal with Stonecoil Serpent pretty easily. We got to watch out for cards like Fatal Push and I was gonna say Vraska's Contempt, but I'm not sure if it's even in Pioneer. I don't know if that's playable, but like Murderous Rider and straight up Murder, Hero's Downfall, etc., etc. Mono Black has ways to deal with Stonecoil Serpent pretty easily, especially since Fatal Push hits it. So that's something we do have to watch out for. But again, the protection from multicolor is pretty relevant. There's also a lot of multicolor creatures, which Stonecoil Serpent being able to just block those for free, essentially, it is extremely relevant. All right, so that's it for the main board. Let's head over to the sideboard. We're starting off our sideboard pretty straightforward. Let me sort color. There we go. So the sideboard here, we're starting off straightforward with 4 Mystical Disputes. It's a great removal spell. I am debating, I want to watch these games that we play because I am debating if Mystical Dispute should actually be Metallic Rebuke, because Rebuke may actually be better in this deck, especially with all the artifact cards we have. But again, Mystical Dispute, extremely powerful. It's pay 1 and mana leak a blue spell, or you just pay 3. It's a counter spell most of the time. It's a 3 mana leak, so that's a little rough. But again, this is Pioneer. The format's a little slower. It could be very good. We have another Padim, all for the same reasons. It is a legendary creature, so we can't play 2, but if we're trying to dodge targeted removal spells and protect our combo, Padim's a great way to do it. We have 2 Detention Spheres in the sideboard here. This is just kind of a catch-all. Detention Sphere exiles a non-land permanent, and all of the permanents with the same name as that card. For against a couple go-wide strategies, playing a lot of tokens or something, that's a good card. But a lot of times it's going to be used for like certain planeswalkers we're trying to avoid, or just anything we're trying to deal with. It also probably comes in against the opposing combo because we want to be able to kill Heliod when we're able to. Tormod's Crypt in here for anything with a graveyard. We want to be able to exile target player's graveyard if we're against something like Is It Phoenix, or something, really anything like Dredgeless Dredge trying to use their graveyard. We just want to be able to get rid of it as soon as possible. Hope of Ghirapur's in here for things like, again, control decks or combo decks. Hope of Ghirapur has flying. Whenever you may sacrifice Hope of Ghirapur until your next turn, target player who was dealt combat damage to Hope of Ghirapur can't cast non-creature spells. So once you hit in with Hope of Ghirapur on your turn, that is a very important note. On your turn, you can sacrifice Hope of Ghirapur, and then your opponent next turn can't cast any non-creature spells until your next turn. So you can still play counter spells on your following turn, so just be wary of that. But this is a good card if you're trying to get around a counter spell. You attack in with Hope Gearper, you sack it on your second main phase, and then you play whatever cards you're trying to play on your second main phase, and they can't interact with anything. Also, if our opponent's like a combo deck and we need like one more turn to get our combo off, you can sack Hope Gearper and stop their combo for a turn. At least combos that use non-creature spells. We have Pithing Needle in here for a sideboard card as, again, as a catch-all. It's good against the opposing combo, naming Walking Ballista. It's good against Planeswalkers. It's good against activated abilities, obviously. So again, this is just kind of a catch-all card. It's also an artifact, so we're able to bring it back with Emery if we need to, and just take care of things. Dampening Sphere's in here for a couple different decks. One big one is the Lotus Field combo that's popping up in Pioneer. The other one is for Is It Phoenix? And then anything... I don't think there's a lot of decks producing a lot of mana other than the Lotus Field deck. So Dampening Sphere's in here primarily for that. Just any combo deck, any deck we're trying to slow down a little bit, Dampening Sphere will be a great addition there. And last on our list here in our sideboard is Aether Sphere Harvester. Aether Sphere Harvester is an artifact vehicle out of Kaladesh, I believe. It might be Aether Revolt. I'm not sure that symbol off the top of my head. But it has flying. It has the ability of Crew 1. When you crew it, it becomes a 3/5 flying creature. And when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. And then it has the activated ability of pay an energy, and Aether Sphere Harvester gains lifelink until end of turn. So this is a good body. It's a crew 1 ability, so it doesn't take much to crew it. It is a 3-mana permanent, which we have, a handful of 3-mana permanents, so it's not too bad. But this is a great way to kind of stop aggressive decks. We put on Aether Sphere Harvester. We block something, we give it lifelink, we gain some life. It's really good to slow down, especially if you're looking to go towards that late game. It's, again, also a great blocker because it has a 3/5 body. So that is the Heliod Walking Ballista combo that I'm currently running. I'm using the Artifact Shell as opposed to other shells. So let me know what you think of this in the comments down below. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'm so ready to test out this deck and get into the gameplay because I'm excited to find out if this deck is the real deal in Walking Ballista Heliod, if that's actually going to destroy the format and probably get a ban. But we'll see, though. So thank you all so much for watching. If you can, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps support the channel. We're kind of skyrocketing towards our goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. But seriously, like if we can get there sooner, that just, ends the first goal. We create a second goal. And honestly, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys helping and supporting me by hitting that subscribe button. Also, please check out our awesome sponsor, ManaTraders.com. We rented this deck here today from ManaTraders. ManaTraders is a card rental service for MTGO and Magic Online, which is MTGO. But they also do tabletop card rental services for major tournaments. Check them out at ManaTraders.com or in the link in the description below. If you want to try out their services, sign up today and then use my promo code Crocodile. So if you use the promo code Crocodile, you get 15% off your first 3 months. So it's not just like 1 month, like you get 15% off. For 3 consecutive months, you get 15% off using my promo code. And honestly, like it doesn't cost much to rent as is, especially since you can rent any deck out there. So if you're playing a lot of Pioneer, you're trying to test out Standard, you don't have the cards on MTG Arena, again, ManaTraders is a great way to do that. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Again, hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video. And honestly, guys, I'll see you in the gameplay. I'm honestly thrilled and super excited to jump in here. See you soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Also, check out the description below for more Magic the Gathering content. This was Jordan with Crocodile MTG, and we will see you next time.